Go to, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name. Remember that now. Let us make a name. He's not going to make a name for us. We're not going to honor his name. We're going to make a name for ourselves. Do we hear? I mean, like, could not this be written right now? Drive anywhere in America, South America, Europe, Asia, anywhere in the world, and you will see a tower with a man's name on it. Trump. That's just one, right? We will make a name for ourselves. And they said, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men, there we go again, you see right there, the children of men. Already he's saying, I'm not in that. I'm not in that you making a name stuff. That ain't me. That's you doing you, and I ain't in that. So don't put me up there talking about you blessing me and honoring me, because I ain't paying no attention to that. Just like I turned down Cain's offering to me, I don't see your towers either with your name on them. Okay, is this fun? I'm having fun. So he says, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they all have one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Now, how many times have I heard this message taken out of context with people saying, you see what happens when people get together and do stuff? When we all get on one accord, you see what we can do? You see, it was just that they were trying to do it, outside of God. But we really don't focus on that part of it as much as we want to talk about what can happen when we get on our one accord. When we decide, when we finally get the revelation that this book is all about him, that the revelations in here that we're receiving should be about him, that everything in here is his story and not our story, not about how we are supposed to get a moral out of it, and not how we are supposed to figure out how we can do things together in our own strength, and how it really does tell us, what is it? Basic instructions before leaving earth. That's a lie. It's not basic instructions before leaving earth. It's his story. That's all. That's all it is. His story, not for us. It's all about him. Yes, we can learn about him from it, but that's what we're supposed to do. Learn about him from his story, not learn how to be better us. Principles that teach us how to be better in ourselves, or whatever we're trying to do. Okay. And it says, let us go down there and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad. Look, they got scattered anyway. So they got scattered. Lord scattered them abroad, and thence upon the face of all the earth. And they left off to build the city. Therefore, the name of it is called Babel, because the Lord did confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them upon the face of the earth. Boom, right there. We will go back and see that Nimrod went on to the beginning of his kingdom was Babel and Erech and Akkad and Calneh and the land of Shinar. And out of that land went forth Asher, and builded Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth, and Calah, and Rezeph, and Nineveh, and Calah is a great city. And it names all of these cities that came out of that. So that tells us that the principle of Babel was scattered about the whole earth in different languages, in different nations, all over the place. Man began to operate in his own strength, trying to build his own name, doing it his own way, building from the cursed ground without God, and evil spread around the world like wildfire under this great and mighty king named Nimrod. But that is where the principle of the Babylonian system, man operating in man's own strength without God, was established and how it spread throughout the world. It was evil then, it's evil now. It was evil then, it's evil now. It was evil with Adam, it was evil with Cain, it was evil in the day of Noah, it was evil with Nimrod, and it's evil now. Now, is it hard to fast forward to today to see how we got to this place? Against that backdrop, we get to chapter 12 and Abraham, right? And now let's think about who these people are. Shem had a whole bunch of kids, and that they didn't live like 50, 60, 70, 100 years. They lived hundreds of years, right? So 8 generations later comes Abram, born to a great grandson of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and he fathered Arphaxad. And then he was 500 years and had other sons and daughters. And then he became the father of Shelah. And then Selah became the father of Eber. And Eber begot Peleg. And Peleg begot Reu. And Reu begot Serug. And Serug begot Nahor. And Nahor begot Terah. And Terah begot Abram. All of those generations, like 8 generations from Noah, then Shem, then all those generations, and then came Abram, right? And so, if we pay attention to everything that I said, these folks are all related, right? These are people who are related to one another. So Abram came from a community of people who were doing it the evil way, operating in their own strength without God. I've heard people talk about, and they were worshiping the sun and this and that and this and that. That might have been true, but what was really the issue was that they came from a community of people who were operating the evil under the evil system. And so now we get to chapter 12, verse 1, where it says, "Now the Lord said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee." All of a sudden, now it makes sense why he told him to get out of there. He had to get him away from the evil way of doing things. He had to get him away from the evil way of thinking about stuff. He had to get him away from operating in your own strength, outside of me, sweating by your own sweat and toiling by your own toil. I can't deal with you in that environment with your relatives. And then when the father died, because the father let him out, and then when the father died, the Lord said, okay, now I'm taking over. It's time for me to, gotta keep on going, right? So Abram encounters God, and so there comes a famine in the land, and Abram goes down to Egypt. So he gets down to Egypt, and he tells his wife Sarai, to act like she's his sister. See, once again, I just messed up somebody's whole theology. Abraham, the father of many nations, whose seed was like the sands and the stars in the sky, told his wife to act like She was his sister, so they wouldn't kill him. Now, somebody's religion just got totally destroyed right there, because in your mind, he is going to hell because he's all wrong and this and that, this and that. Once again, one of these days, we're going to figure out that our righteousness has nothing to do with us and everything to do with him. Abram was righteous because Abram saw God. Abram was righteous because he followed God out of the place where the people were doing it in their own strength and said, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to let you lead me there. That is what made Abram righteous, because by faith he believed God, whereas the others was doing it Nimrod's way. The Pharaoh finds out that, this man gave me his wife and I'm going to die if I don't get them out of my household. But while he was there, now look at this. Because he believed God, because he trusted God, and he went out when the Lord told him to go out, while he's down there, even though he's down there flat out wrong with his wife sitting up in the Pharaoh's house, the Pharaoh is laying it on him thick. Paid. Getting all kind of stuff. They over there working in their own sweat, soiling and toiling in their own strength, right? Thorns and thistles. That's what they over there getting. Working in their own strength. Killing each other and carrying on, right? Abram over here sending his wife to the Pharaoh's house and telling a bald-faced lie about it and getting paid. Now, y'all religion all messed up again, because y'all say, you can't get no blessed doing not right. You can't get blessed if you're not going to do right. You got to do right. You got to do right. Of course you have to do right. But guess what? At that time, there was no transgression of sins because the law hadn't come. So let me clear this up for somebody's religion get all the way messed up. There was no transgression of the law at that point because the law had not come. So he was doing flat out wrong. And later, the Lord will bring about a principle known as the law to let people know that you just can't do any old thing. But I just say that to let you know that it's not that God called perfect people. There are no perfect people. And over and over and over again throughout the Word of God, we see where, beginning with Adam, Noah, and now Abram, there hasn't been one perfect one in the bunch. They all made horrible mistakes. But in spite of their horrible mistakes, every one of them did the one thing that God requires. Just the one thing that God requires. Believe me. Trust me. Not yourself. Do what I say do. Live my way. And therein you will stay blessed. The minute you start operating in your own strength and your own will, sweating from your own brow, you're out of me. You're out of my will. You're out of my way. You can be perfect in terms of your own strength and not acknowledge God and do stuff unto yourself and be self-righteous to yourself and big in your own mind and perfect in your own way outside of God. Like a perfect atheist is still going to hell. A perfect agnostic is still going to hell. I don't care if they never say a cuss word, never cheat on their wife, do all their taxes right, whatever, all of that. And you can be a repentant, walking by faith through grace in Jesus Christ, to whom righteousness has been imputed, and make mistakes every day and be sitting with Jesus in heaven one day, looking down at the perfect agnostic. And that's the truth.